Thank you so much, candidates. Your first question. What do you see as the greatest recent school district success, and how can we replicate that success? Tom is going to go first.
Thank you for that question. In the Escambia County School District, we have many challenges, but we also have a lot of things that we're doing right. And that success, one of them is that we have tremendous employees who are able to adapt and do the things that they need to do to adapt to different situations with children. We have another big success in our school district. A lot of people don't know that it's kind of a hidden success. Workforce education, and that's part of my background. I graduated from college with a degree in what we called vocational education back then, but it's workforce education now. My son happens to be the director of workforce education for the school district, and he's definitely not a desk jockey. You know, I can tell you that. And neither are other hardworking administrators in this district. They're not desk jockeys either. But workforce education is a bright, shining spot in our district because we have more certifications for employment. They call them certs for short. We have more workforce certifications than districts like Pinellas, Orange County, Duval, and others. That means students have taken tests and gone through programs where they can start to work immediately. That's a shining star for Escambia County. Another thing that we have some of the best trained principals and teachers out there. My daughter happens to be one of those at Molina Park. She went from teaching second grade to an ESE position in which she loves. And there's a real shortage for ESE teachers now. We also are making progress on test scores now. It's like climbing a ladder, ladies and gentlemen. You do a few steps at a time. You can't take a child that is 2 grade levels behind to get them 2 grade levels in a year. What we're doing is we're making progressive progress. Are we close to the bottom? Yes, we are. But we're making progress in those areas. And thank you for that question.
I'm thankful that the public schools have something of a sports program. It needs a lot of work. Believe it or not, little boys were not created to sit at desks all day. They were made to run around, chase balls, beat each other up, and then apologize afterwards. Any success that we contribute to the public schools comes at the expense of tax dollars. I mean, for Pete's sake, we could take the kids on a field trip to the moon. But all of us citizens would be in really big trouble. Property taxes would go through the roof. You can build with a sword. The best way to do it is take your sword, point it at your neighbor, and say, use your trowel and build for me. That's what the public school does when it provides, amazing opportunities. It's taking other people's stuff without their consent and giving and say, aren't I such a nice person? Well, no, you took that from someone else, you're not.
Well, we have some successes in Escambia County, and the best one we picked lately was Keith Leonard to be your school superintendent. He's local, he knows the people here, he knows our value system, and the first game that young man ever coached, he coached standing right beside me. So I'm telling you, we can do a lot of good. I told you my older brother was a retired principal, my younger brother's a retired teacher, my sister's a retired bookkeeper. But I don't have any relatives in the school system, so you don't have to worry about nepotism with me. You're going to make sure that you get somebody that makes sure everyone is doing their job. And if everything was wonderful in the Escambia County school system, we wouldn't be 57th in the state. It's going to take new ideas. It's going to take energy. It's going to take enthusiasm. It's going to take doing things the right way. And I'm going to tell you, the governor was here recently and had a news conference at Pensacola State College for workforce. Do you know in District 5 who was the candidate invited by the governor to that? Me. When the governor came here and did his bill signing on the dirty books, do you know who out of District 5 was invited there? Me. I'm going to continue to do that. And they know my efforts. They know how hard I've worked within the school system and outside. I still do numerous food drives. I'm doing one in Century this weekend. I've done several with Michelle Saltzman and the sheriff and a number of people. people who are supporting my candidacy come out and help with those food drives. I have not seen any other member running for District 5 school board seat at any of those functions. I'm going to continue to make sure these kids have food, clothing, shelter, and shoes. A child cannot learn if he's afraid. He cannot learn if he's hungry. And he cannot learn if we don't get him there to school. So with your help, we're going to make some big changes, and the Escambia County school system is going to be in the top 10, not the bottom 10.
I'd have to agree with one of the best victories we had recently with the appointment of Keith Leonard. We had someone else. We had Tim Smith, and he did not think like we did. The very first school board meeting I went to, I tried to read from one of the books, but I wasn't allowed to. It would have been a violation of FCC regulations because it was live streamed. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana later read from the same book. Some books have no redeeming value. Some books are age inappropriate. Some books are developmentally inappropriate. What we had was a total 180 disconnect between our former superintendent, Tim Smith, and the media specialist, and the book review committee, because every book was approved for retention. But when it was examined by the school board, there was a 5-0 vote to remove every single one of those books. And that needed to be fixed, and it was fixed when the school board, in a very amazing way, got rid of Tim Smith and appointed Keith Leonard.
Okay. So I think to get back on success, in a school system, defining success is not all that easy. Take my class, for example, 97% pass rate in an AP exam. Guess what? I didn't take it. So success is measured one student at a time, one person at a time, one class at a time, perhaps one test or one game at a time, but it's about the individual doing well. So you could have a class of 25 students. If 23 of them fail, 2 of them might have just enjoyed success. So we have to look at how we're valuing success and what that means. Some students, hey man, we just made a C on that test and we're high-fiving and dancing in the streets. Others, they make a B- and they're out there in tears. So success is exceedingly hard to define. In terms of county-wide stuff, we have amazing students. And we always have had amazing students. If you look at some of the students in the IB programs, we're sending students to every Ivy League college, the service academies and whatnot. The academies, somebody else mentioned this a few minutes ago, but each of these schools has some amazing academies. We're getting people ready for jobs. West Florida High School has their different academies with the line workers, and they're coming out with certifications, certs, if you will. We've got the George Stone Center. We've got the Navigator program, which isn't a student thing, but it is a great program, and I think it will help bring success as we individualize instruction for each of these kids. So again, kids want to feel success, they want to be successful, and the way to do it, one of the best ways to do it, is to have success in doing difficult things. It's not good enough just to show up, we have to show up and do better. And as has been mentioned before, being 57 out of 67 is not doing better. We have to enjoy success, one student at a time, one block at a time, and moving it forward. Thanks.
Thank you for that question. Escambia County School District, we have a lot of successes, and we want to highlight those. One success was mentioned earlier many times, the career academies, or by workforce education. They're small learning communities where children get the opportunity to go out and explore their careers, explore to see if this is something they want to focus their education on. This gives our families a great choice in Escambia County. You know, if they are interested in a certain career academy that's not offered at their home school, they can apply for a transfer to another school that offers that. So what a great opportunity for families to feel confident, to feel comfortable, and feel like they are part of Escambia County School District.
First, I agree that success looks very different for every student, and students have different needs. Of course, that's That's evident. There are a lot of successes, career academies, Weiss Elementary. Our mayor was at my Rotary 2 weeks ago talking about Weiss Elementary, a community partnership school. I'll always advocate for career partnership schools and the value that those bring to our children. And I hate to be too critical, because when you're too critical, it's kind of like calling your friend's girlfriend ugly or something of that sort. So hate to do that. Look at the data. Our math and reading scores for elementary school are below the state average and well below our neighboring counties. Look at a couple key indicators, as Janet Pilcher with Studer Education says. Measure a couple key data points that are few and mighty as a way to get better over time. And then I mentioned accountability earlier. What does that look like? It doesn't just happen overnight. We don't go from 57 to top 10 overnight. Let's look to the best performing counties on a couple key indicators as a way to move forward. It's what you would do in business. It's what you would do to hold anything accountable. I think that's the way forward. But again, to highlight, never be too critical, because there are always great things to look at. Community partnership schools, Weiss Academy, and I'll name one more, a nonprofit that I'm board of, Parent University. I'm board chair, and I'm so proud of the work that they do for parents, and that trickles down to students in our area.